Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you so much for joining me today in this video looking at my trajectory to my private pilot's license. If you have stumbled upon this video and haven't seen my others, I would highly recommend that you start with the first one, because then again, it is a journey, it is very progressive, and so if you pop up here, it'll be like, how'd you get here type thing. So today's going to be a really interesting video. In fact, if you've seen the title, you probably know what it's about, and it was a very out of the ordinary lesson. Let me tell you about it. Now, I've already finished the lesson. Usually I do this before, and so I think this will appear in the beginning of the video. Don't worry about the logistics of it, let's just get right into it. So let me tell you, I got into the lesson, and everything was fairly normal. What we've decided to do with Sam and I is to split up ground and flying. And so what we're gonna do is have ground on one day, and then which I'm almost done with anyway, I think it's the last two, and then flying on the other day. So we have just 2 hours of flying, we focus on flying, the other time we just focus on ground. So I think that's good. It splits up all the responsibilities and it makes me focus on one thing, so it's a little better in that aspect. So today was pretty normal, meaning that nothing out of the ordinary. We got ready to get into the plane, and I did my pre-flight inspection. Everything was pretty good, and then finally when it came time to go to the run-up to test out the engine and everything, I, to be honest, noticed and heard a little bit of engine roughness. I have to admit, I didn't say anything because I was like, well, I don't really know that much, I'm still learning. And so Sam later told me that I should have said something, and not in a bad way. He's like, hey, like, speak up, even if you're wrong, like, it's good to communicate, and I think he's absolutely right. And so finally, it was ready, we did the run-up, and then he was like, my airplane, and that's, we use these signals to tell each other who is flying. So, like, he'll be like, your airplane, and I'll be like, my airplane, and he will acknowledge by saying, your airplane back, and I start flying, I'm in control. Then if he needs to do something, if he needs to step in, he'll just say, my airplane. I say, your airplane. He continues with my airplane. And so all of a sudden he was like, okay, my airplane. And so I gave command over to him, and he really ran, you know, the engine really hard. And this was while we were on the ground, while we were testing it. And you notice that the oil pressure gauge was not really moving. It was still in the yellow area. It was not in the green. And so that is not a great thing. You have to have proper oil pressure. The oil lubricates the engine parts that are revolving and moving in a high speed. Heat, friction, metal, not good. You need to have proper lubrication. So if your oil pressure isn't up, that's really bad. And so it's a good thing that he noticed. So he's like, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to go back. He's like, this is a decision that I'm making, this is a bummer. I feel bad, but it's a safety thing. So I was like, that's fine, don't worry. So I take over the plane and we drive with the feet back, and with my feet back to the school, and we go in, and there's a couple of instructors, and he tells them the oil pressure, and they're like, oh no, the gauge is intermittent. It works sometimes and it doesn't work other times. And I was like, what? And Sam also was like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's your call, Sam. The other instructors told him, like, in front of everyone. It was kind of awkward for him. Like, I didn't like the position they put him in. They were like, yeah, I would fly, but you make the call if you don't want to. And I just felt at that moment that Sam was like put under pressure, and he's like, okay, well, let's go fly. And when we went out there, I just had a little talk with him. I was like, listen, if you feel that that is not safe to fly in those conditions, like with that gauge like that, because we need to know if we have oil pressure. If we don't, for any reason, there's going to be no indication on that gauge, right? And he's like, absolutely. And so we kind of made the decision together. I mean, he said the final call, but I was like, let's just not do it. Like, don't force yourself. And that's one of the things that we look into when we fly: proper aeronautical decision making and responsible aeronautical decision making. And I think this is a great call. I think it was a good thing. I didn't get to fly. I got in the airplane, we moved it a bit, and I think it was a great lesson. So I'm going to show you the footage that I have, and then we'll come back to me right after that. Oh, pads.
Do you want to use the red one? No, push you up a little bit.
You think that's better?
Oh yeah. I think if you have, if we're sitting up a little bit higher and you can see more.
Yeah.
You know, it is going to change a little bit of your sight picture what you're used to.
Yeah.
But it's going to give you more visibility.
Yeah.
And help you.
Until I get it. Yep.
Of a world where your absence all I get to see. Take Take me back to the planet where you and I.
Doing a little bit of check here. Brake pads, gear leg, flap. We just did that.
First thing you do is always ground an airplane, no matter what.
Oh,
You
wow,
always hook up a
okay.
ground
So you
cable.
take this, it goes to the exhaust pipe there. Yeah.
Okay, let me just see where exactly.
And then in this tank specifically, the fuel tank is slanted.
Yeah,
So,
so everything's...
if I push it down like that and I fuel, it's just going to all splash
Oh,
back.
okay, so you're angling it.
Well, now there's fuel in it, so it's not going to splash back. But I just angle it. Kind of just eyeball it.
Oh, you go by just look?
Yeah.
By sight?
Yeah, because you don't fill it up to the top. If
Okay.
you fill it up to the top, it's overfilled.
Okay.
Wait. So that's about full tank.
But it won't be long before I realize it's a picture in my head, and I know they're just fragments of a world where your absence all like.
We have to fly because when we fly consistently, we cancel.
Yeah. That's... No, it's
If you're on the highway, especially.
And to tell you, I heard the engine was not smooth. That could be the breakage.
Yeah, it didn't feel that smooth.
No.
Did you check the oil?
I did. The oil was okay at burp. Well, you got some footwork practicing.
Okay, it goes any lower.
Yeah.
Like it goes like more like
Yeah.
I'm sure. You guys know oil pressure. And then light, instruments, and master.
Cool.
And then park and brake off. Take the key out. Well, that is so annoying. I'm sorry you drove out here.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, I'm glad you noticed that because I don't know. I didn't say anything because of course I'm not experienced. So I was like, okay, that sounded weird. That, you know, but I was like, okay, maybe that's just me.
No. If you ever have any doubts,
I don't know if
hear
you noticed
something-
it.
I didn't notice the roughness.
Like
but
in the
if you-
beginning, then later it kind of smoothed out. But I was like, it just sounds like rough. And that's it, guys and gals. It was fairly short. Like I said, we didn't get up in the air, but this is why I'm making this series, because sometimes things happen and we have to acknowledge that. And so I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you all next time. Stay positive and most importantly, be hopeful.